Today I invite you to begin this new dawn with your heart full of hope and your eyes fixed on God. This is a sacred moment, a space of encounter between your soul and the Creator. Stop for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel how the air entering your lungs is also the breath of life that God gives you once again. If you are listening to these words, it is because God still has a purpose for you, because His plan is not over, and because there are still chapters of faith waiting to be written in your story. The book of Hebrews tells us something powerful, that faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the conviction of what we do not see. That phrase, dear listener, is not just a definition, it is a declaration of power. Faith is the language through which the soul communicates with heaven. It is what sustains your steps when your eyes can no longer see the path, what gives you breath when you feel weary, and what lights a flame within you when the world around you seems to fade. Today in this prayer, we are going to speak with God from the deepest part of our being. We are going to give Him our burdens, our fears, and our doubts, but also our gratitude, our trust, and our worship. This is not just a simple prayer of words. It is a living experience of faith, a heartfelt conversation with the one who never fails, with the one who always fulfills what He has promised. Beloved Father, this morning I come before you with a willing heart, with a quiet mind and with my soul open to your voice. Thank you for this new dawn, for the simple gift of breath, for every heartbeat that reminds me I am here because you have willed it so. Today I wake up with the certainty that it is not by my strength that I walk, but by your mercy, by your grace, and by the eternal love that sustains me even when I do not deserve it. Lord, your word says that faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the conviction of what we do not see. And I want to begin this day holding on to that truth. Because many times my eyes see the opposite of what my spirit believes. I see closed doors, dark paths, long silences, and it is hard to understand. But deep in my soul, there is a spark, a voice that whispers to me, trust, even when you do not understand. Keep believing even when you do not see. That voice is you, Lord, reminding me that faith is not based on what I feel, but on what you have promised. Father, you know my thoughts before I speak them. You know my battles, my weaknesses, my fears, and my struggles. But today I do not want to focus on what I lack, but on what I already have. I have your presence, I have your word, I have your promise, and that, Lord, is more than enough. Because even when the world tells me it cannot be done, you show me that with you everything is possible. Even when people doubt, you confirm with power. Even when my mind grows weary, your spirit renews me. Lord, there are moments when I feel like Abraham, walking without knowing where you are leading me, trusting in a promise that has not yet been fulfilled. There are days when I feel like Moses, with the sea in front of me and the enemy behind, not knowing what to do but believing that you will make a way where there is none. And there are days when I feel like David, small before the giants, yet with a faith so great that it makes me believe that one single stone guided by your hand can bring down everything that rises against me. That is why today I decide, Lord, not to be ruled by fear. I choose to believe, even when I do not see results, even when the process hurts, even when the silence seems long, because I know that your silence is not absence, it is preparation. You are working behind what my eyes cannot see. You are writing my story with ink invisible to me, but clear and perfect to you. My God, give me that faith that does not depend on circumstances, that faith that does not crumble under trials, that faith that does not surrender to delay. Give me a firm faith, a mature faith, a faith that does not waver with the wind but grows stronger with every storm, because I know that every storm you allow in my life has a purpose, and that purpose is always to draw me closer to you. Father, teach me to see with the eyes of the soul, to understand that the invisible is more real than what my natural eyes can perceive, that when everything seems lost, you are still working, that when doors close, it is because you are preparing a better one, that when I feel weak, you are there to remind me that your power is made perfect in my weakness. Today I want to lift my spiritual hands and declare to you, Lord, that I trust you even when I do not understand the path, that I believe you even when circumstances say otherwise, that I cling to your word even if time passes and I do not yet see the result. Because you do not lie, Lord, and what you promise, you fulfill. Eternal Father, I want to walk this day with the assurance that I am not alone, that your presence goes with me, that your angels surround me, and that your Spirit guides me. I want my faith to be my shield, my thoughts to align with your truth, and my steps to follow the direction you have marked for me. Let nothing steal my peace, let nothing extinguish my hope, and let nothing make me doubt your love. And if today, Lord, any of your children are listening to this prayer with tears in their eyes, with a weary soul, with a wounded heart, I ask you to remind them that faith is not about feeling, it is about deciding. It is saying yes to you even when the mind screams no. It is taking a step even when the ground feels uncertain. It is believing in the middle of the desert. It is trusting when everything seems lost. Lord, let this faith awaken within us. Let it rise as a living flame, burning without fading, illuminating even the grayest days. Let every person who hears these words this morning feel your touch, your presence, your embrace. Let them understand that you are in control, and when you are in control, there is nothing to fear. Thank you, Father, for reminding me that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting the one who does. Today, I rest in you, I breathe in your presence, and I place in your hands everything my mind cannot solve. Because in you, Lord, everything finds meaning. Beloved Father, as I continue this prayer, I want to open my heart before you and speak of those moments when the soul feels your silence. There are days when I pray, and it seems the heavens do not answer. Days when I cry out and all I hear is the echo of my own voice. But I have learned, Lord, that even in those silences, you are working. That your silence does not mean absence, but teaching. That your stillness is not indifference, but wisdom. You who see everything know when to answer, when to wait, and when to transform the heart of the one who prays before showing the miracle. Sometimes, Father, I wish everything were immediate, that my prayers would be answered instantly, that my petitions would be fulfilled without delay. But if that happened, my faith would not grow, my patience would not be strengthened, and my character would not be refined. That is why I understand there are hidden purposes in every season of waiting. Each day that passes without a visible answer is a day in which you teach me to depend more on you and less on myself. You teach me to walk by faith and not by sight, just as your word says. Lord, help me understand that true faith blossoms in moments of uncertainty. When I do not understand your ways, when plans change, when doors close, that is when faith becomes real. Because believing when everything is going well is easy, but trusting when everything seems uncertain is the true act of surrender. That is the faith that moves mountains, the faith that does not need to see to know that you are working. Father, give me serenity so I will not despair while I wait. Let me not surrender to anxiety. Let me not be consumed by impatience. Let me not doubt your goodness. Teach me to embrace the process, even when the process hurts. Let each day that passes without seeing results remind me that you are perfecting something within me. Let waiting not be an empty time, but a field where faith grows, where my soul is strengthened, where I learn to know you more deeply. Lord, how many times have I felt like those who wandered through the desert without seeing the promised land, like those who waited for an answer while seeing only sand upon sand. But even there, you were with them. The cloud by day and the fire by night were proof that you had not abandoned them. In the same way, I know that even when my eyes see no signs, your presence is still with me. Even when I do not feel the fire, you are still igniting my faith within. Eternal Father, remind me that you work in silence, that while I sleep, you are moving things in my favor, that while my eyes see no progress, your hands are building my blessing, that while my heart grows restless, your spirit whispers peace. Because faith is not about seeing the end, but trusting the process. It is about believing that even though the journey is long, your promise remains firm. Teach me, Lord, not to despair when timing does not align with mine, not to lose faith when the answer does not come when I want it to. Remind me that your timing is perfect, that your plans never fail, and that your promises never arrive late. You know when to open a door and when to close it. You know when to grant and when to protect. You know when to give and when to withhold. Today I ask you, Father, to renew my hope. Let every sunrise be an opportunity to believe a little more. Let my faith not depend on circumstances, but on your character. Because you are faithful, even when I am not. You remain constant, even when the world changes. You sustain me, even when everything around me shakes. Lord, I want to learn to trust without conditions, to rest in you without reservations. I want to release the control I cling to and surrender it all into your hands. Because faith is not about understanding everything, but about surrendering completely to you, knowing that what you do is always best. Even if my mind cannot understand the why of the trials, I trust that each one has a divine purpose. If today someone listening to this prayer is going through a time of waiting, through a moment of uncertainty, speak to their heart, Lord. Let them feel that they are not alone, that you are working in silence, preparing something greater than they can imagine. Remind them that faith is not watching the clock for a sign, but keeping the heart steady, knowing that the best is yet to come. And if there are tears in their eyes, Lord, turn them into peace. If their soul is weary, renew it with your presence. If fear fills their mind, replace it with hope. Because you are the God of the impossible, the one who keeps promises, the one who never arrives late, the one who turns waiting into blessing. Father, thank you for teaching me that delays are not denials, that silences are not abandonment, and that faith is not measured by visible results, but by trust in the unseen. Let my life reflect that faith that stands firm when everything trembles, that faith that waits without despair, that faith that loves even without understanding. Today, Lord, I give you my time, my plans, and my path. I place in your hands my worries, my doubts, and my desires. Do your will in my life and give me the strength to wait with joy, the patience not to give up, and the faith to keep walking until I see your promise fulfilled. Eternal Father, in this new part of my prayer, I want to talk to you about fear, that silent visitor that so often knocks at the door of the heart. Sometimes it comes disguised as worry, other times as doubt, and other times as that thought that whispers that I will not make it, that I am not enough, that it is too late. But I know, Lord, that when fear speaks, you call me to remember who you are. You are my refuge, my shield, my solid rock. When everything shakes, you remain firm. When my mind grows restless, you bring peace. When my spirit grows weary, you renew it. Lord, fear has made me hesitate many times. It has stopped me when I was about to move forward. It has made me turn back when you had told me to take a step. But I have also seen how, when I choose to face it with faith, that fear loses its power. Because fear and faith cannot live in the same heart. When faith enters, fear must leave. That is why today I ask you, Lord, to strengthen my spirit, to teach me to look at you more than at my fears, to focus on your promise and not on my insecurity. Father, I want to learn to walk with confidence, knowing that you go before me, that no matter how great the problem may seem, you are greater, that no matter how dark the road may appear, you are the light that guides it, that no matter how many times I fall, you are always ready to lift me up. Teach me, Lord, not to let fear direct my steps, but to let faith be the one that leads them. Fear, Father, feeds on what I do not understand, but faith feeds on what I believe. And I believe in you, even when I do not see. I believe that your love covers me, that your plans are better than mine, and that even the hardest trials can become seeds of purpose. Because in the midst of pain, you shape my character. In the midst of tears, you cleanse my vision. In the midst of waiting, you prepare my heart to receive what is coming. Lord, if fear has taught me something, it is that it cannot defeat the one who chooses to believe. Because fear shouts, but faith answers in silence. Fear threatens, but faith resists calmly. Fear paralyzes, but faith walks. And when the soul chooses to believe, you do the rest. You open paths where there were none. You heal wounds that seemed impossible, and you give meaning to what once seemed meaningless. Father, when pain knocks on my door, help me not to reject it immediately. Sometimes behind that pain is the transformation I need. Sometimes the very trial I fear the most is the tool you use to shape my heart. Teach me to see beyond the tears, to recognize that valleys are not punishments, but pathways toward higher mountains, that every wound can become a testimony, and that every fall can become the push to rise stronger. God of mercy, I do not want to live avoiding pain. I want to live learning from it. I want my faith to be so firm that even when tears fall, I can still say to you, I trust you. That when something hurts, I remember that you are healing in silence. That when I lose something or someone, I remember that you are still my everything. Because faith does not erase pain, it transforms it. It turns it into wisdom, into strength, into purpose. Father, if fear tells me that I will not make it, remind me that you have already overcome. If the enemy whispers that I am alone, remind me that you are with me. If circumstances seem impossible, remind me that you are the God of the impossible. If I feel weak, remind me that your power is made perfect in my weakness. Teach me to see fear as an opportunity to trust more, that every time my heart trembles, it becomes the perfect moment to remind myself that my faith is greater than any fear, that when my mind fills with thoughts of defeat, your voice reminds me that in you I already have the victory. And if someone is listening to this prayer, someone going through a moment of fear or uncertainty, speak to them yourself, Lord. Tell them they are not alone, that their story does not end in pain, that you are writing purpose with every tear they have shed, that their faith is being tested not to destroy them, but to strengthen them. Because what passes through fire does not burn, it is purified. Father, let this morning be a turning point in our lives. From today on, may we no longer be guided by fear, but by trust. May our faith be greater than the giants we face, firmer than the mountains that try to stop us, brighter than the shadows that try to cover us. Thank you, Lord, because when fear takes hold of me, you give me peace. When pain visits me, you give me purpose. When doubt touches me, you give me certainty. Thank you because your presence sustains me, renews me, and reminds me that even when I do not understand everything, in you everything makes sense. Today I choose to walk by faith, not by fear. I choose to look forward, not backward. I choose to trust in your plan, even when I cannot see the outcome, because I know that in your hands my story is safe, and that every step I take, though uncertain to me, is guided by your perfect will. Beloved Father, in this new part of my prayer, I want to talk to you about those doors that seem closed, those paths that seem blocked, those dreams the world says can no longer come true. There are moments in life when I look ahead and see only walls, when I try to move forward and the next step feels impossible. But I know, Lord, that when faith enters the scene, the impossible begins to tremble. Because where man sees limits, you see opportunities. Where I see a wall, you see a door waiting to be opened. You, God, hold the keys to everything. No door can close if you decide to open it, and none can open if you have determined that it is not the time. That is why I want to learn to trust your timing, to believe that even delays are part of the process. Because so often I think you are stopping me, but in reality, you are preparing me. When a door does not open, you are strengthening my faith. When an opportunity does not come, you are working on my character. When something does not go as I wish, you are protecting me from something I cannot yet see. Lord, I acknowledge that I have knocked on doors by my own strength, that I have tried to open paths with my own hands, that I have tried to push what only you can move. But today, I place all of that in your hands. Today I understand that I do not need to force what you have not authorized, nor fear losing what you have not prepared for me. Because what you have determined to be mine, no one can take away. And what you have not destined for me, even if I chase it with all my energy, will never bring me peace. Eternal Father, give me the wisdom to recognize when a door is closed by your will and when it is closed by my fear. Give me discernment to understand when I must wait and when I must move forward. And above all, give me the faith to believe that even in the hallways of silence you are guiding my steps, that there is no delay without purpose, no obstacle without a lesson. Lord, how many times have I felt like Peter in prison, with chains on my hands and sealed doors before me? But I have also seen how you send your angel, how you make the chains fall and the doors open by themselves. That is how I want to believe, Lord, that you can open what seems closed, that you can move what no one else can move. I want to have the faith of one who never doubts your power, but waits on your perfect will. When faith enters, everything changes, because faith is not based on what I see, but on what I know about you. And I know that you are faithful, that you are powerful, that you fulfill your promises. When faith enters, doors open without explanation. Opportunities appear from where no one expected. The right people show up at the perfect moment. Paths suddenly light up, and it is not luck, it is your hand. Father, there are doors that do not open because I am not yet ready to walk through them. There are paths I cannot yet take because I do not yet have the maturity to sustain what awaits me. Help me understand that it is not punishment but preparation, that it is not denial but love. Because you do not withhold blessings, you keep them until my heart is ready to receive them with gratitude and humility. My God, teach me to have an active faith, a faith that not only waits, but acts with hope. That while I wait for that door, I continue to pray, to serve, to grow, and to trust. Let me not stay paralyzed, staring at what has not yet opened, but walk toward what you have already placed in my hands. Let my eyes not fix on the closed door, but on the God who can open it with a single breath of his will. Lord, if a door closed in the past and it still hurts, help me to let it go. I do not want to cling to what no longer belongs to me. I want to release the past to make room for what is coming. I want to let go of what has already fulfilled its purpose and walk toward what you are preparing. Because faith does not cling to the past, it trusts in the future. It does not mourn what ended, it celebrates what begins. Father, if someone listening to this prayer today feels that all doors are closed, I ask that you touch their heart. Let them know that you are the God of impossible doors, the one who opens paths through the sea, the one who raises walls to protect and tears them down when it is time to move forward. Let them understand that a closed door is not the end, it is the beginning of something new. That faith does not seek explanations, it seeks presence. That as long as you are there, everything still has purpose. Lord, give me the faith to believe even when I see nothing moving, because faith is to keep knocking even when the door seems sealed. It is to keep praying even when there seems to be no answer. It is to keep believing even when everything seems silent, and in that silence you are working with power. Father, I want my faith to be like a fire that never goes out, a fire that illuminates my path even in the darkness. Let my trust in you be stronger than my desire to control everything. Let me be able to say with all my heart that if you do it, it is perfect, and if you do not, it is still perfect, because your will is always good, even if I do not fully understand it. Thank you, Lord, for being the God who opens doors no one else can open, for being the God who surprises me when I least expect it, and for reminding me that faith is the key that unlocks even the strongest locks. Today I give you my keys, my doors, my paths, and my decisions. Open, Lord, what must be opened, and close firmly what is not meant for me. Let my heart have peace in waiting, gratitude in blessing, and humility in every step. Because everything I have, everything I am, and everything I hope for is in your hands. And in your hands, Lord, I am never lost. Beloved Father, in this part of my prayer, I want to open my heart to you in that place where weariness hides, that weariness that is not always visible, yet weighs so much, that exhaustion that sleep cannot cure, because it is not in the body, it's in the soul. There are days, Lord, when one wakes up and though the sun shines outside, inside it still feels like night. Those are the days when faith seems small, when strength fades, and one wonders if it's worth continuing to wait. But right there, Lord, is where you appear, where your presence is felt more deeply, where your voice comes softly and says, "Do not give up, I am still with you." Father, you know my inner battles. You know when my mind fills with thoughts that won't let me move forward, when my emotions weigh on me like stones, when my steps grow slow. You see when my smile hides sadness, when my faith seems fragile, when my hope has become a thin thread. But you also know that even when I feel weak, I still believe. That even when it's hard to pray, I still seek you. That even when I don't understand what you are doing, I still wait on you. Lord, teach me to rest in your presence, not in achievements, not in answers, but in you. Because when the soul is tired, what it most needs is not a solution, but your embrace. Your word, the one that calms inner storms, the one that renews the strength of the downcast heart. In your presence, the soul finds relief, tears turn into peace, and wounds into purpose. How many times, Father, have I felt I could not go on, and yet you sustained me. How many times I thought I had reached the end, and you showed me it was only the beginning of something new. For faith, Lord, not only moves mountains, it also lifts tired hearts. Faith does not always change circumstances, but it always changes the one who has it. It transforms me from within, teaches me to see life through your eyes, reminds me that even in weariness you remain my strength. Father, when I feel exhausted, remind me that I can come to you and rest, that I can lay my burden at your feet, that I can release the weight I was never meant to carry, that I do not need to pretend strength before you, because you do not ask for masks, you ask for sincerity, and when I am honest with you, you restore my soul. Lord, I want to learn to see hope not as something far away, but as a seed within me. Even if it seems small, I know it will grow if I water it with faith. For your word says that faith is the assurance of what we hope for, and hope is precisely that, to wait with confidence even when there are no signs. Sometimes, Father, I look around and everything seems stalled. Nothing changes, nothing advances, and the heart wonders if it's truly worth continuing to believe. But there, in the midst of that stillness, you work. Because faith is not nourished by outward movement, but by the power of your presence. Even if I do not yet see fruit, I know you are watering what I sowed. Even if I do not see the way out, I know you have already prepared it. Even if I do not see results, I know you are perfecting my path. Eternal God, grant me the grace not to give up when weariness visits me. Let my prayers not depend on my mood, but on my love for you. Let my faith not depend on what I see, but on what I know, that you are good, that you are faithful, that you never fail, that even when I feel weak, you are at work. Father, there are times when the soul's fatigue comes from waiting too long, from praying without seeing an answer, from walking without seeing a destination, from trusting without receiving signs. But that is where faith is tested, that is where the soul is forged. Teach me to see the waiting not as punishment, but as training. Each day of waiting strengthens my roots. Each silence from you sharpens my hearing. Each delay teaches me to depend more on you. Lord, when the soul grows tired, hope seems to fade, but you are an expert in resurrecting what seems dead. Resurrect, Father, the sleeping faith within me, the joy I have lost, the dreams I buried. Give me back the passion to believe, to move forward, to rise once again. Let every sigh be a declaration of trust, every tear a seed of something new, every weakness an opportunity to see your power made manifest. Father, if someone is listening to this prayer today with a weary soul, embrace them now. Let your presence enter their heart and fill it with peace. Let that person know they are not alone, that you are there, that you hear even when there seems to be no answer. Let them feel your love wrapping their weariness, your light dispersing their darkness, your voice lifting their spirit. Thank you, Lord, because there is no weariness you cannot renew, nor heart you cannot restore. Thank you, because when hope runs out, you rekindle it. When faith weakens, you strengthen it. When the soul gives up, you raise it. And when it seems that everything has ended, you say it is only beginning. Today I want to keep walking with you, Lord. Though the road be long, though my pace be slow, though my soul grow tired, I want to keep believing. Because I know that at the end of weariness, your comfort awaits me. I know that after every night comes a dawn and that behind every silence there is a purpose. Thank you, Father, because even when I grow weak, you remain strong. Even when my faith wavers, your love does not change. Even when hope dims, you breathe on it and it is lit again. In you, Lord, weariness finds rest, the soul finds purpose, and faith finds meaning.